Hey guys, this is Coach Tyler with Momentum Throws, wanting to do another short video analysis of Kaylynn Chapman. She is a junior discus and shot put thrower. This is one of her better meets. This is a season record in the discus and a 1.5 to 2 foot PR on the shot put. So this is a really, really great day for her. I'm really excited for her and the work that she was putting in. Technically, she's improving. She is starting to figure out some of the technical cues and things we're trying to accomplish in the ring. And this was the first meet that I've seen with her. It's only our second meet together, and really second or third week together as well, that she's really starting to put some of this stuff to practice. So I think it's important to note this, guys. When I am doing video analysis or when I am coaching, at practice, I like to be very intentional about what we're trying to accomplish. So we'll pick 1 to 2 things to try and fix, all within the time frame of our practice, and we'll work on that for a few days. And that may change from practice to practice, but it'll be relatively the same stuff. And we try to implement that into each part of our practice. Track meet days are about competing. I want her to compete at her best. I want her to try to throw far. We're not trying to execute technique at a track meet. We're not trying to, I should rephrase that. We're not trying to be super technical at a track meet. We're just trying to compete, and we're trying to get in the ring and execute and throw as far as possible. All right, there we go. Sounds better. So she is starting to do some things that have put her in position to get a little bit further throws. This is the best she's thrown this season. So we'll watch it full speed, one time through, kind of break down a few things she does well, break down some things that she does not do well, needs to improve on, and some cause and effect relationships that we're going to be addressing as she goes into her heavy cycle for the next few weeks. So here we go. So immediately, I love the balance out of the back of the ring. We really focus on the left side movement, and she does a good job getting to that left side. She does a good job staying balanced and in control. There's great flight on the discus. This was just ultimately a really good throw for her. Now, some things that she has struggled with, and she does relatively well on the stand throw, but we haven't figured out how to implement that into our full throw. And that is rotating the hips all the way through, keeping the shoulders level across this way, as opposed to having them tilt down in that kind of direction. But we'll get better at those. More and more throws, throwing something heavier than the competition will allow her to, it's more force, literally, so it'll allow her to feel the position a little bit better. Now, let's break this throw down a little bit more. So, the first movement here is awesome. I like this, but we need to pick the right foot up, and it needs to start initiating the sweep sooner. You let both of your feet turn, which is fine, but your knee is going right into the left. This is almost like a hammer toe turn, right? And obviously, hammers are very different event than discus, so guys, don't get it twisted. I coach it all, but you want your knees nice and tight in the hammer throw. You don't want that in the discus. So the right leg needs to come up, out, and around so you can get to the middle. Now, because we don't get the right leg out, because we don't sweep as we get into our sprint phase, we just kind of pick the right foot up and then lunge forward. Again, that discus still catches up to our body right about here. That discus is right there where it should be, kind of back here behind, dragging behind you. Okay? Now you don't feel that second stretch going into, and then you can't really create the third one because you didn't really feel the second one. Also, I like this with the left arm. This is better. This is better. Having the left arm here as opposed to having it here is an improvement. But it's short. You bent the elbow. It's kind of a chicken arm. That's what I call it. We don't want that. We want that arm to be extended. We want that left elbow and wrist to be extended and go all the way around to a tight block on the finish. Not tight, 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 and then we're long on the finish. It's not quite what we're looking for. We want to have good sweep. We want to have a long left arm, okay? Squeeze a little bit tighter in the middle and then turn the hips through on the finish. Now, those are technical things that she does that need to be fixed. But as far as the actual throw, what I will say is if she can get a better sweep, activation of the right leg sooner, sweep harder to the middle, and get off of her left sooner, it's behind, it's dragging, so it's throwing her whole movement down. Her left foot should be down when her shoulders are here. It's still in the air. And you see as she grounds it, she's already open. So right leg sweep, getting off the left sooner, and long left arm will be the next three things that we focus on in our heavy cycle as we go forward. Keeping the shoulders level, coming around on that discus, and finishing with some power. Now, the way that I teach my discus throwers to finish is to not just turn and spin the discus. I have them rotate the shoulders, and then I have them pushing and driving the discus out. This is a linear event, folks. I mean, we know that we're spinning. We are obviously rotating, but we're rotating in a linear fashion. We're trying to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. We're trying to throw in this direction as quickly as possible, not throw like this. And even the same in the hammer throw, which as we start our hammer mini camps coming forward in the summer, I'll talk more about my philosophies of the hammer, where they come from, who I learned them from. But very similar to that, it's linear. So we have to have some type of linear driving force from the back of the ring on the finish. So we're going to have a heavy cycle for the next 3 weeks where she's going to be throwing the 1.25 discs and the 5K shot puts. We're also going to implement a reverse in her throw as well. And here's my reasoning for that. I typically do not coach my discus throwers to have a reverse. I'm one to think, and I agree, because I'm a science teacher, so I agree with the physics of you're more powerful on the ground. You can accelerate the implement, whatever implement that is, with your feet on the ground. But I also understand the feeling of being a thrower, and sometimes you can train and untrain things by having a non-reverse thrower reverse, and then having a reverse thrower do non-reverse. There's always method to that type of madness. So having her go through, and she's never reversed before, so having her go through a reverse type movement will give her a little bit better feeling of how much her body needs to rotate on the finish. And then we'll start getting into the axis, turning on the axis on the right foot. We'll get into all that stuff. We don't want to complicate this process. It's little by little. You got to trust the process, and you got to chip away little by little. But ultimately, this is improvement. I don't see why we're not improving 10 to 15 feet within the coming weeks. So again, recap. Better left side. Right leg, when we're here, needs to be out. Needs to be out this way and then coming around. Okay. Left arm is long. Now let's keep it long. Let's not bring it in. So keep the left arm long. Okay. Drive off that left a little bit sooner so we can get the left foot grounded. Okay. And then turning the hips all the way through, keeping our shoulders level. And that should produce a lot more speed and force rotation to the discus. And then adding in that little bit of a reverse. We'll work on that this week, if not next, or in the coming weeks. You'll start really seeing those distances jump. Good job, Kaylynn.